Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Audrey Marie. Thank you for clicking on this video. And in today's video, I will be starting Dire Bound by Sable Sorensen. Don't quote me on how you pronounce that. This book has been all over my For You page on TikTok for a good couple of weeks. I'm not sure when it came out, but this book has been compared to Fourth Wing a little bit. And the thickness of this book definitely could be. I'm excited to get into this. I'm gonna get back into a fantasy read. I'm intrigued by this. I don't know a whole lot going into it. I haven't even fully read the back of it. I literally just saw some people talking about how good it is on TikTok, and I was like, I'm gonna be reading that. So I'm eager to get into this. Before I saw this on TikTok, I was going into Walmart, Target, the bookstores, and seeing this book and always intrigued by it, but I didn't know anything about it because look, the cover is gorgeous. So, and texture on the front of it where the sword is, so cool. I am loving the detail on that. So I'm intrigued. Well, I'm gonna have to re-record part of that. My phone filled up with storage. So I'm gonna have to rehash basically everything I just said. So I'm excited to get into this. I read the back, like the little snippets on the back, not the entire thing, but only the worthy survive the bonding trials. She'll risk her life and her heart to be one of them. It's bond or bleed, duel or die, failure is ruin. I'm excited to get into this. Whenever I was flipping through to put my bookmark in here, I noticed there was a content warning and this gorgeous map. I am a huge fan of this map. I don't know anything about it, but I'm enjoying the style of this. And then whenever I was flipping through the back, tell y'all how many pages there were, 570 if I remember right. I'm trying not to spoil anything for myself doing this. But there's a guide to the bond, Pacts of Nocturnum, I believe. There's little sigils, hieroglyphics, things, talking about something. I'm trying not to spoil anything for myself, so I'm not gonna read any of this. There's glossary of terms. There's a character guide. There's even a playlist. So I'm excited to get into this. There's even a bonus chapter. So the more I get into this, the more I'm excited for it. I'm going into this pretty much blind. All I know is they get bonded to dire wolves based on what I was hearing from others, but I'm excited to get into this. It's Monday. I haven't really been feeling the greatest, but I went to classes today because our field trip week is done and over with, so I'm back at college, and I wasn't able to read much of Dire Bound since maybe Saturday or Friday. I've got to page 102. I'm in the middle of chapter 11. I think I started the day at like chapter 20, 23 maybe, and so I was able to read a little bit today. This morning nothing really happened. She was in a fighting ring and she won. And then one of the girls in her village got kidnapped, so she raced back thinking it was her younger sister, and thankfully it wasn't at the time. You learn that her mom got something going on and they're using medicine for it, and she has her good and bad days. So Marin's trying to take care of both her mother and her younger sister. But the little kids get kidnapped by their enemies. So she's trying to prevent it by teaching the kids how to fight back a little bit, to put up a fighting chance. So they're not just getting kidnapped in the middle of the night, not knowing how to stand up for themselves. But a little bit later, her sister gets kidnapped, and Marin spirals after her sister gets kidnapped. And then she decides that she's going to enlist in the army. She finds out there's going to be bonding trials after she had already signed up to enlist in the army. And so her goal is just to survive the trials and not get bonded with a dire wolf in the end. Well, she thinks she makes a friend with this one girl, and before the trials begin, this one girl leaves her. She's like, I'm not trusting you. I'm not trusting anybody. I'm not putting my life in anybody else's hands besides mine. So the one girl just runs off. Marin stays back to allow the go-getters to go before she finally makes her way so she doesn't get killed in the process. And while she's staying back, she notices this one girl is about to get killed by this other person in the trials, and Marin comes to her rescue and saves her. The girl she saves happens to have a sister also in the trials with her, so they want to thank Marin for saving her life, and so they all become a trio all together. So now they're teaming up to scale this mountain all together because they won't be even with one another, because the two of them are happy that Marin saved the one girl, which is Isabel, I believe. And their ancestors are part of the bonded, so they knew going into this what to expect, and they had some little intel that is useful for Marin and was more prepared. So they all worked together to scale this mountain. Marin fought off the guy that was trying to kill Isabel earlier in the book. Jonah is the one who almost killed Isabel earlier in the book. And then as they reached the top, Isabel and Venna reminded Marin what to do, and they walked off on their own. They automatically bonded with direwolves, and Marin is focused on not wanting to bond because to save her sister, she wants to get sent to the front lines automatically so she can go straight to rescue her sister. But for her, that did not happen at all. This wolf named Anasa comes over, and I guess you hear some whispers about Anasa coming to the mountain for 100 years and never bonding, and so that's a mystery we need to figure out at some point. She's a silver wolf. She bonds with Marin, and in this process Marin has pain in her head, and once she touches Anasa, the pain just disappears and she doesn't know why. And then she finds out, because her hair brushes in front of her, that her entire head of hair turns to silver to match the pack. I think it's the pack she ends up coming. I don't know what that means yet. What the silver means, seems like both Isabel and Venna get separated into different packs. One has silver and I think one has a blue, and so they divided. And I guess once you bond with a dire wolf, you get put into a different pack. Normally, you just get a small strand of colored hair. Marin gets her whole entire head turned. I think Anasa is also a silver wolf, so they're straight up matching. So that's intriguing. We don't know why that happened yet, at least. We also don't know why Anasa has come up to the mountain for 100 years, but never bonded. I think was the word in. So that's also a mystery we don't know yet, and we need to figure that one out. And then now they're testing their bond with their wolves to race down to the castle, and if you don't make it to the castle before nightfall, they die. Marin knows you can communicate with your dire wolf through the bond. Well, Anasa is not communicating, and whenever Marin went to reach Anasa through whatever she felt, there was a big wall and she just hit it. She doesn't know why. She was trying to ask Isabel questions, and it was already on top of her dire wolf to start heading down. Isabel just runs off, and Marin's just like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm intrigued. It's getting good. Within the first couple of chapters, I had a feeling her sister was gonna get taken by the nappers based on how the storyline and the plot was going, because her mom was not all there, unfortunately, and the only person she was solely focused on taking care of was her sister. And the storyline of the kids getting taken by the nappers just set it up perfectly for Marin's sister to get taken, and that's what happened. So that was not a very big surprise on how the storyline got set up, but that's fine. It was just the early stages of the book. I was not expecting the scene between Lee and Marin that fast in the book. That was a little bit of a shocker. I didn't skim over it, but I just quickly read through it because I was like, I'm not really connected with these characters quite yet, and this was just like really early on this book, and you're not really connected to these characters quite yet. It's really sweet, the relationship Marin and Lee were having in this book, but you don't get a whole lot of them yet, but it makes sense for their characters. It was just too soon for me personally. I am enjoying this book. I'm ready to keep going in it. It's getting there. It's getting good. It's finally getting to the juicy bits. I'm not really connected to any of the characters quite yet. I understand where Marin's coming from trying to save her little sister because she became a mother figure and she took on a motherly role for her sister. But whenever I read fantasy books like this, whenever I read fantasy books, I think about what's going on elsewhere in the world and how other people see it. And so, like, her mom, I'm curious as to see how her mom, after she disappeared, after Marin goes off, what she's experiencing, or Igor, which is Marin's neighbor, how he's trying to help and watch over Marin's mom, and what his storyline would be. I think about that quite often, but I don't think it would add to this book so far. So it's understandable that this isn't like a multi-point of view, so I'm excited to keep reading. I'm curious as to multiple things in this book so far, so I'm gonna keep reading and I'll pop in every once in a while whenever I have any updates. So it's Tuesday now, it's the next day, and I have been reading this book nonstop pretty much. Now at page 196, I'm in the middle of chapter 19. I'm enjoying the book. It has callbacks to a lot of different books that I've read recently, and the plot twist that just happened where she finds out the identity of the prince, I thought coming, it makes sense for the storyline, I guess. But also I wasn't that stunned whenever she was like, oh my god, the prince. I was like, oh my god, it's Lee. It's 100% Lee. So Killian the prince is Lee. I have a feeling the pack will figure out that she knows the prince, and that might make a little bit more of a rift between her and the pack. She's learning about all this new world she's getting thrown into where she has no clue what she's doing, and at least she has Isabel and Venna to help her. She met up with Lee so they could talk about everything in the garden, and on her way back, one of Jonah's buddies attacked her in the dead of night, so she used self-defense and fought her way out of that and happened to kill the guy. And the next morning they find the guy who tried to kill her, and so now she is an example as to what happens to people whenever they kill somebody. And now she has like a tattoo on her neck. While they were fighting, she was trying to save her life. She cut her hair Mulan style with a knife. So now she has like a really short bob, which is so sad because I love the long silver hair, just imagining that. But now she has like choppy bob, or even tangled style. Mulan or tangled style, just chopping off her hair. So the bond between them is still really shaky because of her getting attacked and now having the tattoo on her neck. She was given a private room, and it sounds like higher up pulled some strings for her to get that private room because she got attacked, and now she's probably gonna have a target on her back because it's a pack. Everything from this book is talking about, oh, you have to be comfortable with the entire pack. We do everything together, and they even sleep all together and bathe all together. And so her now having a private room is gonna put a target on her back. It's gonna call her different from everybody else. And I pulled Isabel aside and she was like, I wonder who pulled the string for you. We thought the king had eyes for this other woman, but does he have eyes for you now? But I have a feeling, and even in the book, Marin's, it's probably Lee pulling the strings for her to get this private room. Or it could have been Stark, the higher up that keeps staring at her. I don't know who exactly. I hope it gets revealed at some point who actually pulls the strings behind her getting a private room, because it will be intriguing on how it affects me seeing from a not different point of view, but what was actually happening at this time. I hope it gets revealed who's actually pulling the strings, because I want to know. I'm just so curious about that. It's so intriguing. I still want to know about the hair. That is still, I have so many questions about why her hair is fully silver. Why Anasa is not being so open to her bond with Marin. That is so confusing because everybody else is open to everyone. It seems like Anasa wants nothing to do with her, but then whenever they were trying to kill her to be considered the weakest link, she came to Marin's rescue and fought off everybody. So Anasa and Marin didn't die. So I'm intrigued. We find out what this sword is too, and I was trying to figure out what that was for a while now, and I figured it was gonna pop in and explain at some point in this book. And it's the sword that the king has that was given to the ancestors of the royal family by the goddess to be able to control the dire wolves. So whenever the king brings the sword out and, like, I guess stabs it into the ground, and he's like, kill the weakest link, all the dire wolves become hyper focused on killing their weakest link, and that's when Anasa helps Marin and saves her. I'm curious as to how this sword is gonna play into this book, because I have a feeling it's not just on the cover for that one scene. I have a feeling it's gonna play into further in the book again. I'm intrigued as to seeing the connection between Anasa and Marin grow, and seeing what will trigger the connection between the two of them fully. I am still only almost 200 pages through this book, so I have plenty to continue reading, and I'm getting through it. I read almost 100 pages today, and it's only almost 4 o'clock today, so I have plenty of time to keep reading for the rest of the day. But me and my roommates might paint some more magnets for our fridge here later. We already have the sketches made for them. We did that last night. We did the sketches last night, or we might hold that off until this weekend. We'll see. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll pop in when I have any other updates, or I get another 100 or so pages further into this book. I'm enjoying it. I have so many unanswered questions that need to get answered. About 40-ish pages, and oh my god, I'm glad Marin and Anasa were able to complete the trial to prove their communication. Even though their communication is still not good and solid between the two of them, they were able to work together to get through that trial to not die. It sucks that they got that far and they actually worked together, and then I feel like I know what the issue is. I feel like Anasa wants Marin to realize that this is a team effort. Whatever they do is they're always a team together. They're not Anasa and then Marin separately, individuals. They are Anasa and Marin together as a bonded pair. So the wall that was between the two of them disappeared just a little bit. It was still glassy, so Marin could see through it, but not 100% see everything. But they were able to get through the trials, and Marin was like, oh my god, we did it. If only Anasa listened to me. And then the wall snapped right back down, and I was like, aha, that's an issue. You two are in this together forever. I'm glad Edith finally confronted Marin and was like, I know you're still wanting to get your sister, but this is the path you're on, and you can't deter from being a bonded pair at the moment. This is your path at the moment, and you're one of the bonded. You can't act like you're better than everybody else, because you are one of us now, and you need to get that into your head, or you're not gonna survive the next couple of months with us. You need to change your reasoning for life, and you're not just a lonely commoner anymore. You're part of the bonded community, and you need to realize that, because you need to be part of the pack to survive, because if you're not, you're gonna die, and then you're never gonna save your sister. I'm glad Edith finally gave Marin a kick in the ass, because she needed it, and I'm hoping that since she finally had this conversation with her, Marin's gonna realize, oh, we're a team, not two individuals fighting against one another. And I'm just like, thank you. I was wanting to tell her that because she was starting to make me mad. I understand your sister is wanting to get saved, but you have people out there trying to help you. That was just my little quick update. I haven't got very far, but those were just my thoughts here recently that popped into my mind, and that's about it. So I'm gonna keep reading. What the heck? So the nabbers weren't even their enemy. They were literally humans getting paid to kidnap the kids. That's ridiculous. And then also, I literally stopped reading because I was a little stunned. And also, what do you mean you already know your mate? How do you know your mate? Why? I'm glad this is coming out now, because I was saying how I was like, dude, it's weird. The humans are doing the deed for the direwolves to find their mate, and now that's not true. Thank God. But also, what? All these, they're literally doing the deed so often with one another. That's insane in the pack. That's insane. I'm tired of that. I want to know who Anasa's mate is now, because she said she's already known it for years. So I'm curious. But I have a sneaky suspicion it's Stark's direwolf. I have a sneaky suspicion, and that's why Stark is so harsh on Meryn. And whenever the king went up to Meryn and was looking at her really closely, Stark stepped in to get the king away from her and Anasa. So I have a sneaky suspicion that's what's going on. I don't understand why the humans are going at it like rabbits. It's literally insane. And also, I don't know my feelings on Killian yet. I still have mixed feelings about Killian because he lied to her, but also he's still helping her figure out the nabbers and is willing to rip out someone's fingernails to get info, to torture a guy to get info. I have mixed feelings about him still. I don't know. I'm curious as to what that vision was of Meryn's on the way to Killian's room that she literally passed out from. I have so many questions. I have a feeling we're gonna figure out who Anasa's mate is at some point, and I want to bet on it now just because this is what I'm thinking. Is it Stark's direwolf? I have a feeling. So I'm gonna keep reading. I just had to pop in because humans need to calm down. They need to stop going at it so crazy. It's way too much.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I see. Well,
Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy.
That's really fast. It's not fun if you know it. What the?
Just making sure you're okay.
But being delayed right in front.
So it's been a while, and I finally finished Die Around. I finished this late Saturday night, basically Monday morning, because I stayed up late because I was not feeling good all weekend, so I just stayed up reading this instead of going to bed. And I will say, even though the book was highly predictable, I did enjoy my time reading this. It did take me almost a week and a half to finish this, so this took me a lot longer than a lot of other books that I've read, just because there's so many words on the pages and it's a smaller font, so it did take me a bit longer because it had so much in this. It was very predictable. I pretty much predicted the ending besides what happened with our sister, but Stark being Anasa's mate was a no-brainer. That was a given. And then Killian being the enemy or the bad person in the book also was not that surprising, because I had mixed feelings about him from the very beginning. and it did not feel right. Something about him did not feel right throughout this book, and it came to fruition. It came true. Through this book, I was able to guess before the plot twists were revealed, especially like Nasa being the rightful heir of Sturmfrost and Nocturna, and then Killian and his dad being related to their enemies, the Siphons, and they took over Nocturna from Marin's ancestors. And then even the book that Marin took from Stark's bedroom. I did enjoy it. It was just highly predictable. I was getting frustrated when Anasa and Stark was keeping secrets from Marin, but when you find out that there was a spell preventing them from spilling the beans about all that, it makes sense now as to why they weren't able to say anything to Marin regarding her right to the throne. I will pick up the next book in the series when it comes out, and I think the next one comes out in March. So I'm looking forward to that when it does come out. I will have the next one on my radar. I'm excited to continue and see if they are able to solve the issue that is now presented at this book. So I enjoyed the epilogue that was in Stark's point of view because it gave more of an understanding as to Stark's background. Instead of just him talking through it, we were able to see in his point of view first chapter. So it took you back to when she was in the ring fighting. The one thing I wanted to complain about this book is it had so many scenes of Marin and Killian doing it, and it honestly, I started skimming a lot of it because it was too much. There was at least 6 or 7 scenes of them just going at it, and personally that's too much. I understand a couple scenes of it, but it was just too much. I did start skimming a lot of that near the end because I could not deal with it no more. I skimmed most of it and then just got the words out. It was way too much. And I did not like Killian, so I was just skimming through it because I was hoping she'd realize that Stark was better for her, in my honest opinion. I had a feeling that the feelings that Nasa and her mate were feeling for one another would go into Stark and Marin, so they would be feeling that between the two of them. And it did, and I'm excited to see how the next book goes with her, with it being revealed she's the rightful heir, and them dispersing the info to the entire bonded community. So now they know that Marin has the right to the throne instead of Killian, and Killian's actually the bad guy, and the nabbers that were prior to this book was working for the king and the prince. I did enjoy my entire time reading this. It is worth the read. So I'm excited to try to pick up the next book in the series whenever it does come out. So I'm excited, but that's everything in this video. And I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you want to check out my other videos that I've posted, go check them out. Well, thank you.